Greetings, fellow Americans. Welcome to Fireside Chats, State of Our Nation. I am your host, Susanna Tanner, candidate for President 2028 and House of Representatives 2026. We're going to start off with the SNAP benefits issue that is currently plaguing our nation. SNAP, as most of us know, is a federally funded food program that is supposed to help reduce hunger and food inequality in our nation. Benefits for this program come from taxpayer dollars. We, the people, expect those dollars to be used for our essential programs, especially during a government shutdown such as this one that SNAP keeps essential programs running during these government shutdowns. For a lot of us, as you can tell, it's very frustrating to have to deal with this and have to worry about where our next meal is going to come from. There are currently 42 million Americans who are due to receive those benefits, and 42 million Americans stressing about where they're going to get their next meal is never a good thing for a nation. Never a good thing. There are, unfortunately, individuals in Congress who want to withhold those benefits as a kind of ransom for their demands. But in the last 2 days, a Rhode Island judge has ordered the Trump administration to pay out those SNAP benefits. Unfortunately, the Trump administration wants the courts to clarify how they want all this to take place. It is not the court's responsibility to figure that out. That is the Trump administration and the USDA's job to figure out. That's part of their duties. Withholding SNAP benefits from 42 million people who rely on them to feed their families and themselves is a crime against humanity. Livelihoods are being held hostage by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and those who support him and support Trump. Withholding the only means that someone has to eat increases the likelihood of starvation and health problems. We have already observed patterns of starvation and health issues as recently as the Israel-Hamas conflict in the Middle East. Regardless of how it starts, the results are still the same. Food banks can only do so much because they have a limited amount of food. As far as I'm aware, food banks rely heavily on donations from the public, and that doesn't cover necessarily the amount that is needed to feed the public. Not even an amount that is infused by our state governments to local food banks covers that amount. It's a combination of all these things. So it's really all of us using our resources to fund those particular types of establishments, food banks. They do, like I said, rely heavily on donations from the public. It also diminishes the mind to worry that a food bank might not have enough for everyone that, goes to get food from it. So it's a continuous cycle of stress and worry, and it could get worse if this is allowed to continue with the current administration and the current members of Congress who are withholding the opening of the government for these demands that they want. All of it can lead to starvation in the U.S., and we don't want to see that happen. It seems that individuals in Congress are literally causing direct physical harm to the American public. This is unacceptable, as our tax dollars are meant to support essential services we need for our nation to function, to keep our economy moving. I say they are not fit to hold public office. Mike Johnson and all of those Republicans who are supportive of these maneuvers by Congress, by the majority of Congress, by the Republicans, by Donald Trump's administration, they're not fit to hold office. Any member of the United States government that supports withholding essential services, essential social services even, that could mean the difference between life and death, starvation and good health, should never be allowed to continue to hold office. I am calling on the constituents of these individuals, these elected officials, especially and including Mike Johnson and the constituents of District 4 in Louisiana, that's his district, to remove them all from office immediately. It is clear that those who support Johnson, who support Trump, mean to do harm to the American public and our economy. In the meantime, we, the people, have a few things that we can do. If we are going to support our nation on our own and not have our funds directed appropriately to fund our nation, then the federal government doesn't really need our tax dollars, do they? The IRS in each state should direct all future payments that are meant for the federal government to the state governments, to the local state governments. This way, the essential services in each state can be covered. This is the hole that they're digging themselves into. The United States Congress needs to snap out of it. We should include, though, if we're going to do that, our representatives' salaries, because we want the ones that we know are supporting opening the government, reopening the government to support SNAP benefits and healthcare. We know that they are at least worth keeping around. This way, there is no excuse for the federal government to have any access to our tax dollars. To help those in need during this time, though, there are some other things that we can do. I know that Facebook has a multitude of groups that are dedicated to helping each other within communities. And if I'm not mistaken, even Craigslist has this type of setup. You can go into communities and go into the community threads and check for resources, ask for help, and the community responds. We have many social media resources as well. So it's important for people in need to get the word out one way or another, whichever social media platform that you use. I personally have helped others through these platforms, as well as am hearing about very recently friends of mine helping through these platforms as well, through these groups. So they do work. They do work. This is just one of the ways that we can help get each other situated, keep each other from having too much of an issue with obtaining food, especially, and essentials. Um, it would even be helpful, though, to organize some local drivers to help with transportation of goods from one place to another, of, donated food items and such. Trusted individuals. Obviously, coordination is key, but having the social media platforms where people can organize that kind of stuff is really helpful in this type of situation, especially. Now, there's also people who can donate and who can't donate. Those who can donate but don't have, an emergency driver to be able to deliver food should be able to get it picked up by a trusted and designated driver to deliver those goods. In our communities, we can also do stuff like hosting feed those in need a hot meal type events, depending on how long this continues to go on, because we don't want our community to be starving. We don't want these issues with health to continue to develop at an outrageous pace if starvation starts to take effect. There are many in need while the government plays with the lives of Americans. Many of us know someone who is in need. Helping each other prevents the starvation of our people, of our friends and family. I have friends and family in other states that are also being affected by the loss of SNAP benefits. Hopefully, this judge will get the Trump administration on the ball about it. If you are able to donate, please do, to a food bank, to a community member, something. Let's keep each other from starving. It's unacceptable to allow those things to happen. That being said, we are going to move to a little bit of a different topic, investing our tax dollars. This has to do with a very local uh, issue in Washington. In the state of Washington, our special election that we have not yet completed, it includes a measure, 8201, which is asking the public permission to invest in stocks via a fund that is the Washington Cares Fund. That fund is to help pay for medical expenses as part of some of our major um, it's part of our major um, Apple Health type programs, making sure that people are able to get healthcare, medication, all that stuff. There's too much risk in investing this type of fund into stocks, into volatile investments. So I'm against this measure. Stocks are a gamble. Sure, there are some stocks that give out dividends, which is a portion of their profit, but the amount of those dividends are subject to the amount of profit that a company makes. Investing crypto is also a gamble. If a company or crypto goes under, suddenly our tax dollars are all lost. So this is something that we should not do. The other part of the financial loss due to the stock or crypto price fluctuation, let me rephrase that. The other part is that the financial loss due to stock and crypto price fluctuations is not covered under FDIC. The only coverage of financial loss extends to $250,000 for incidents like theft. To make any kind of real financial gain from investing in an unstable market, the government would have to hire people to continuously watch those markets and trade. And salaries from those hired people would offset any market gains from those investments. Investing in the future is great, but when it comes to our tax dollars, I can only approve of certificates of deposits in physical banks and local banks. They are the only safe investment since they are like a savings account that draws interest. You can't touch it though until it matures. It's reinvesting in the economy by supporting local and major banks, but without as much risk to the funds. Our state Congress may have control of Washingtonians' tax dollars, but we, the people, are ultimately the financiers of everything. And investing in stocks is a no-go. So this is something I just wanted to say my piece on. This is more local. This has to do with Washington State. But it kind of gives you an idea of my position on things. And I think a lot of us feel the same way because we understand that stocks are a gamble. We are now going to finish up with the final part of the essay on our Constitution. As I've said before, the supreme law of the land here in the United States is the Constitution. We, the people, are its power. The founding fathers of our nation structured it so that it compromises, checks, and balances the established government. granting limited power to the government and empowering the people to manage it. Powers not delegated to by the Constitution to the government, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively and to the people. The genius of the Constitution is that it can always be changed. The genius of the Constitution is that it makes no permanent rule other than its faith in the wisdom of ordinary people to govern themselves. Our Constitution has been amended a few times throughout United States history in the last 250 years. These changes have evolved into the Constitution that we know today. With these changes have evolved the original context or the text of the Constitution to what we know today. With these changes, our nation has grown in many ways. It has prospered because the people elected to change. The people, ordinary people, who understood what the Constitution represented, saw its spirit. The spirit of the Constitution is freedom. Freedom from persecution, slavery, and abuse of authority. Freedom granting the right to vote, to practice personal beliefs, to protest and change. Those powers, those rights, which are not delegated by the Constitution, are reserved to the states and the people. We maintain a democratic republic, an almost perfect blend of multiple types of governments, balanced in such a way that no single branch has absolute control, save one. We, the people. We are the power of the Constitution. We are the power of freedom. That is all I have for today. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.